In question 4, it's easy to get overwhelmed to an extent by the amount of information that has been provided to you. So let's try and set this out in a way that we can keep track of what's going on. So we've got this guy Javier who has gone on a business trip to Venezuela, and he's got 5,000 US dollars. So that's where we are when we start. And we know that initially he is going to convert 3,000 US dollars into the Venezuelan bolivars. So let's have a look at what that works out at. We know initially that $1 US is the same as 6.3021 VEF. So the way you can think about this is with a little kind of function machine. So if you have here $1 US, we know that that would end up being the same as 6.3021 Venezuelan bolivars. So we can see that to get from US dollars to the bolivars, we need to multiply by 6.3021. And similarly, if we wanted to convert from bolivars back to dollars, we would correspondingly need to divide by 6.3021. So I find these function machines quite useful for currency conversions. Now, if we look at the question, we're asked here to convert $3,000. So let's put 3,000 in here into Venezuelan bolivars. So we can see all we've got to do then to get from US dollars to bolivars is to multiply by 6.3021. And if we do that, we end up with 18,906 and 0.30. We're then given some additional information about how much he spends during his trip. So we know that initially he had $5,000 and he converted 3,000. So he had $2,000 at the start of the trip. And we're told that during the trip he spent 1,250. So at the end of his trip he will have $750. Now, we also know he spent a lot of the Venezuelan bolivars. So at the start of his trip, we just worked out in part A that he had 18,906.3 bolivars, and we're told during his trip he spent 12,000. So at the end of his trip, he was left with the difference, which would have been 6,906.3. But remember, that is in Bolivian ricards. So in order to get from Venezuelan bolivars back to the dollars using our function machine here, we're going to have to divide. However, the exchange rate is different, and we're told the exchange rate is now 8.7268. So if we take this figure here and divide it by 8.7268, once he's converted these into dollars, that would give you, let's have a look, that's going to give you $791.39. So this is the value he's got from converting his Venezuelan bolivars, and this is what he's got left in dollars. So if we add those up together, the total amount in US dollars that he has remaining from his initial $5,000 is going to be $1,541.39.